And we are live for the match preview. Hello, welcome to Irish Football Fan TV. It's myself, Paul Neal, and I'm joined by our man, Tom Healy, to discuss Republic of Ireland versus Greece in the UEFA Nations League. Match day 2, the Aviva Stadium, under the lights. The winter's coming in. Everything's there to be positive about, Tom. How are you feeling today, Tom?
Yeah, look, not great, obviously. Pretty bad result and performance against England, but I think it is important not to overreact over it. Like, if you had said going into it, it was going to be 2-0. I mean, you wouldn't have been too surprised. I think the disappointing part of it was probably that, it was a fairly similar setup and personnel to, the O'Shea couple of games in charge. And, obviously we've come to learn that he did have a pretty big influence over the selection and, the setup of the team. But that's not really what you want out of a new manager. You kind of want to see something different. Having said that, like I said, I don't think we should overreact over it. Like, I don't think you can make any proper judgments of Hamer or anything based on a loss to England. I think Greece coming up is, that's where we really should be seeing some more results. And yeah, hopefully we can do that tomorrow.
Yeah, well, myself and Jared did the final word last night, and we really went into the dissecting the game. So if you're live and watching that, maybe check that out after this video if you're not already past that result. Some of us are, some of us aren't. Some of us have moved on to this game now. Greece, it's not going to be an easy game. I spoke with Stephen Kunturu from Hellas Footy yesterday as well to get the opposition low down on Greece, so that as well is also on the channel. But he did say that obviously there's no Poyet there anymore. There's Jovanovic just came in. He's a Serbian manager. He's worked in the Greek setup with Panathinaikos. He was successful there as well. He was successful as well with Apoel, obviously the former team of Jack Byrne, and Mick McCarthy, of course, was manager there for a little while as well. So he was successful with those two teams, and now he's the Greek manager and seems to be working very well with this side. And he's also he's picking players that have to be playing at club level, something that we don't really have the luxury at the moment with our players playing in England or wherever. They're not always playing at their clubs, but this manager seems to pick players based on them playing at their clubs and based on form. So look, we know Greece had our number the last two times we played them, but I suppose you've mentioned John O'Shea, you've mentioned the setup already so far. So putting yourself in this situation, what would you change going in? Would you change the formation? Would you change the personnel? What do you feel? I know he's going to be forced to make a change with Seamus Coleman being out, but what in your mind can Ireland do to get a result tomorrow?
Yeah, like it is difficult because I don't think you can approach a game against England the same as you would against Greece. Obviously, you have to have your own beliefs and your own setup, but I do think you have to have, a different sort of approach to a game against such a big team like England. Greece, obviously, a little bit more less known than England, but we have played them twice fairly recently. I was really impressed about them, like them last two times. I don't know if it's going to be a similar sort of setup from them, but personally, based on the England game, I thought that a four at the back would have worked a lot better. I thought that the wing backs, just from even a communication standpoint, it seemed like it was just a bit all over the place. Felt like any time that Doherty or Brady went, then they were leaving, huge gaps for their England wingers to take advantage of in behind. You seen that especially for the first goal, which I know there was a bit of a mix-up between Coleman and Collins as well on that, but it kind of came from Doherty like leaving that gap wide open and Gordon running into it. Even before the game, I know we talked about it. I feel like with Coleman out now, it's a little bit more difficult. You probably are going to have to play Doherty in there, even though I was really disappointed by his performance, like in particular against England. Sorry, I would love to see Scales come in at left back. Like, I know Robbie Brady, I feel like it wasn't for a lack of effort. Like, I thought he was trying, his best against England, but I think we all realise he's probably not the player he was before for Ireland, especially playing out position at left wing back. But yeah, I personally would like to see a four at the back. I'd say probably Collins and O'Shea, and then Scales and it's probably going to have to be Doherty at right back. Then midfield, you're looking at probably similar sort of setup, Smallbone and Malumbi. Uh, I'm not sure what he's going to do in the wings really, because I don't know. Other than Benny, I thought on the left side we were fairly devoid of anything going forward. Uh, we'll see how he goes with that. But again, up front, I think again Ida along with Doherty, I thought they were the two I was probably most disappointed with against England. Smodics was trying his best. I thought he got around pretty well.
Would you? A
Probably,
quick question for you. You mentioned Sponix
yeah.
there. Would you play him as a centre forward?
Maybe not necessarily as like a number 9, but like definitely in the front line, off the striker, whoever he's playing alongside. I thought like even though he wasn't involved as much as you'd want him to be, but Ferguson I did think brought a bigger sort of I don't know, he just
Presence.
yeah, I thought a bigger presence up front than Ida did. Like I was looking forward to seeing Ida based on like how he finished last season against England, but I just felt like he didn't show any of that against England, especially in the first half. So I'd say we probably should see a change up front.
I think Smodics is better playing off the shoulder of the last man. I think there was elements where he showed that he was trying to get in behind, I think, Harry Maguire, and pointing to play around Maguire for him to get on the end of. I've seen him score a lot of goals like that for Blackburn. I know Blackburn and international football are two different things, but if you look at it, obviously his goal scoring record last season, he was really good at that, timing his run and getting in behind and then finishing. If we can find more players to find him doing that, then I would actually play him as a striker and play him at the top of the pitch. Whether that's with someone or not, I still think he's such a handful that he doesn't need to be a big monster of a striker, that we can still make good use of him. But I do think we need to get pace in the final third around him. So whether that's Ogbene on one side, but then you said there as well, kind of there's no one really on the left that makes you think. Like the only one who I ever think of on the left who would have a bit of pace but hasn't been playing well for a number of years is Callum Robinson. And then do you bring him in there? Does he really deserve a start? Not in my opinion, he doesn't. Do you move Robbie Brady up further up? I don't think he's got the legs to be that person on that wing anymore. I think you could play him as a left back. I think he's actually better as a left back in a 4 than he would be as a winger, just purely because you want your winger to be getting forward and getting into the box and trying to get on the end of crosses and stuff like that. I just don't think Brady is able to do that anymore. Still a quality player, but I don't think he's the answer for us going forward. Scales at left back could be an option, but I doubt he will go for it. And then I think, as well as that, you could even throw Festi in there. You know, you could play Ogbene off the left, and then you've got pace on both sides. But I don't think he'll do that, to be honest with you. I think he'll try and balance it up. He might even put Smodics on the left, Ogbene on the right, and probably Ida up top. If I was Troy Parrott, I'd be scratching my head as to why I'm not getting any sort of a look in, considering Parrott was the one who scored the last winner at the Aviva. And he scored a couple of important goals and last minute winners in the Aviva, and he's someone who I think he really thrives at playing at the Aviva now. And I think if you're leaving him out and you're playing players like Adam Ida and stuff like that, not that Adam Ida's been bad or anything like that, he scored as well in our last home game, if I'm not mistaken, or one of them anyway, from a Will Smallbone cross. Can't remember what game it was, but
Hungary, I think.
It was a Hungary, because did we beat them 2-1?
I think it was 2-1, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then it was that one. So, like, the two of them scored in that game, despite no Evan Ferguson. Evan Ferguson doesn't look fit. John O'Shea tried to say he was fit, and then one of the journalists questioned him today about it and said that he wasn't fit because Hamer said he wasn't fit. So, it was a bit of a kind of awkward moment where Hamer had told the media that Ferguson wasn't fit, and then John O'Shea told him that it was. So, it was a bit, because obviously Hamer's not doing the press conferences, it's a little bit awkward, and there was a bit of a standoff between O'Shea and the press today, which will be live on our channel at 11. You can check that out, but it wasn't a huge standoff, by the way, so don't be licking your lips hoping for a bit of drama. O'Shea pretty much said Hamer's the boss, and that's that. But just like, it will be interesting to see, does Hamer change anything, and will we get a reaction from the England game? Because although it was 2-0, it could have been 5-0, it could have been 6-0. Let's be honest about it. I mean, Caoimhín Kelleher was outstanding and made 7 saves from inside the box. So to pretend like it wasn't an awful performance. It was an awful performance. I don't care who you're playing against. We've played better teams than England. We put in better performances. It's a good point about the back four, back five. That clearly needs to change in this scenario. I think you should have an extra midfielder in there, and that will kind of hopefully, whoever it is, they can take away the threat of Bakasetas, who's their number 10 and is their main goal threat. Then you've got Yanididis up front for Panathinaikos, who's doing quite well, and you've got that lad Solis, used to play for Norwich. He's playing with Club Brugge at the moment. He just came off a good season with Dusseldorf, and he's gone to Club Brugge. So they have players at decent clubs. I wouldn't say they're absolutely unbelievable players, because they're not, but I think we have to pay close attention. Bakasetas destroyed us before when he was playing against us. So I'd just be wary of the Greeks the same way I'd be wary of an Armenia or anything like that, and not take them lightly. We took them lightly before, thought, Greece would be a handy one, myself included, and we got spanked, we got outclassed, we got out-tacticked, whatever way you want to. We were totally outplayed when we played them away from home, and maybe there was a factor of that, is the fact that we had a lot of our players who were playing in the Championship and their season had ended, or the Premier League and the season had ended for quite a while. But then again, I'd be saying that the Greeks must have had some sort of end to their season as well, so it can't just be that to blame too. But that was definitely an element to it. So look, I think it's something to keep an eye on now, that we need to make sure that everybody turns up, and we need to pack the midfield, and we need to start scoring some goals and create those chances that we're creating. We need to start putting away, and ultimately that's not down to Hamer to come onto the pitch and put the goals in. But we've had the same problem even when Stephen Kenny was in charge. We had good performances, but no one to finish the ball or put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, the issue there, with packing the midfield, it's we just literally don't have enough midfielders to do that. I know Knight, he did actually come on, and I thought did make a pretty good impact when he did come on. I know there was one moment where he ran probably about 40, 50 yards to sweep up a run that Gordon made down the left in the second half. But
yeah, that was a good
yeah, and I don't know if the solution to that is dropping Smodics a bit further back, but I agree with you. I think he does belong in the front line. I don't know what role that might come in, whether it's as a number 9, as the leading man, like you said, or whether it's just off another number 9. I think either way, his best role should be centrally. I think he's just wasted out in the wings, and I think that was a mistake that O'Shea made in his time. So I'm hoping that that's not a mistake that Hamer makes as well, because I think he is probably the best player in the squad. When overall, I think he's the fella who can really win us games. But as you said, it's about, can we not get dominated the same way we did in midfield against England, against Greece? And I think we should be expecting to do so much better against Greece. I'm willing to give that allowance against England. I know we can criticise a lot of things that they did, but I am 2-0 against England. I don't think is overly shocking. But I think if we don't get a result against Greece, at least I would be seriously concerned.
Yeah, I wouldn't be seriously concerned, because I still think Greece are a decent side, as in they're a good side that show good togetherness as a unit, and I think that's what Hallgrimsson wants us to be in the longer run of his reign. Once he kind of gets a grip on things, he's saying all the right things in my opinion. Except for about having more authority on the team, but other than that, I think he came out and he was strong in what he said, and he's strong in his answers. He's not afraid to upset people by what he's saying. I think far too often people like Stephen Kenny would be too afraid of upsetting people in the media rather than just actually having a belief, and I think that's refreshing to see. So look, I think you won't really see the fruits of what he's brought to the team, I don't think, till after the Nations League and coming into next year, when he has an actual proper idea of who his players are. And he'll have an idea after the kind of first, say, 6 games or whatever of this Nations League. I think it's 6. And then we'll know where we stand and what like hopefully we'll have an identity and know what way we actually set up instead of rather just going, oh, it's going to be 5-3-2 today, lads. And one thing he made a good point about as well, and you can reference it, was the fact that there's never been a settled 11. I know it's international football and you're always going to be kind of, players, you're going to be worried about players coming in late and stuff like that because of injuries and so on, but you can't, well, I don't know about you, Tom, but if I was to pick the starting 11 tomorrow, I'm not sure it'd be the same as it would have been against England, or even the same positions. I could only say probably offhand that there's two players that would probably start in the whole team, maybe three, sorry, and that's Nathan Collins and Darragh O'Shea and Sammy Smolix. And other than that,
Benny maybe.
Benny possibly, yeah. And Kelleher because Bazunu's injured.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what 5 of the 11. So, like years ago, you used to be able to kind of give an 11 and go, that's the team, that's our strongest team. We don't know our strongest team because every international window, someone has a bit of form, comes in, does all right, and then they're the next hope. We've had it with Robinson, we've had it with Parrott, we've had it with Ida, we've had it with Ferguson, and now it's Smodix. So Halgums has tried to come out and basically said that he wants us to have a settled kind of 11, or kind of near enough to a settled 11, that we know like that's our best team, and when they're on, we have a real good chance of coming up against anyone and giving them a game. Not to say that we'll win every game, but just even to show a bit of fight and an opportunity to win. Similar to what we used to do with Martin O'Neill when Martin O'Neill's squad wasn't amazing either. We did have experience and we did have leadership, I'll give it that, but in terms of players playing in Premier League and all that type of stuff, it didn't have the most amazing squad. People forget it was like O'Shea and Keogh and Kieran Clark and O'Shea and Keogh and Duffy, and we didn't have an amazing squad. We also had what's his name, Daryl Murphy playing up front in certain games, as well. So it is possible to do, and I do believe that he could do it. It's just I don't think it's going to happen straight away, and I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow night. I hope it does. I hope we get the win, don't get me wrong, and I'll come to the score predictions now in a sec, but I think we need to start all being realistic in where we are right now, and not be getting ahead of ourselves going, we should be ahead of Greece, because right now Greece are better than us. They beat us twice in qualifying. They are literally better than us right now, so you can make up whatever way you want and go, well, we're Ireland, we're better. We're not better than them right now. And that's the nuts and bolts to it. We need to start putting performances in, starting hopefully tomorrow. But yeah, I suppose to end it, coming to you on a score prediction for tomorrow.
Yeah, just to go back a little bit, I say massively concerned, I'm not going to be calling for his head or anything if we lose, but I'm just saying, I think we match up on paper anyway better against Greece. And when you look at the two teams side by side, you're thinking, I don't know, we've got most of our players playing in the Premier League, most of theirs playing in the Greek League. I know they have a couple playing in the Premier League, couple of big names, and they are a good side, they are very well set up. I just think, if we're going to be going out and, as Hamer says, we're looking for results now, we're not looking for performances, I'd be hoping to see more of that, defensive structure, solid at the back, not being as, easy to play against, which was a team of the Kenny era, which I thought we seen
naive,
yeah. So, I do agree we have to be realistic. Greece are a good team, but I think when it comes to it, I don't know if we have this Nations League just to afford them to lose all these games. I think for Ireland in particular, this is such an important time to in terms of qualification for the World Cup. I thought it was interesting what Stephen said from the Greece point of view. There is a clear sort of thought in Greece. This fella Jovanovic has been brought in with the one goal, qualified them for the World Cup. And I just feel we're so far away from that sort of expectation in this country, which is understandable from the time we've just come off. But I think we need to get back to that time. And games against the likes of Greece, we should be matching up better against that sort of thing.
I agree with you totally. But they are after just coming off the back of a hammering of Finland of 3-0. So that's what I'm saying is we can't be taking them lightly. We are as good as Finland, but the last time we played Finland, they beat us. So again, I would class Finland as better than us right now until we play them, and then we'll see where we're at. But I think as far as tomorrow night goes, we need to be solid, resolute, and not concede early, and try to be the ones that take the lead in this game, and then we're more likely not to lose, because I think once we concede a goal, then the heads drop and we just don't seem to ever look like getting back into the game anymore. Don't know if that's a factor under Stephen Kenny, under his reign, but the belief seems to be sucked out of our team sometimes when we concede or go a goal down. You know, it's different when we're
on Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's different if we score a goal first and then we like when we beat Hungary, scored a goal first, they equalised, then we scored again. But it wasn't a case of panic stations because we conceded and we were a goal down. We got another goal back. But when we concede, I feel as though we struggle to get back into the game. So I'm hoping. But anyway, prediction, goal, score prediction from you.
So I'm going to be optimistic again and say 1-0 Ireland. I think it's going to be a cagey game. It's going to be really close. And I'm just hoping that we can nick one in the second half. Just like you were saying against England, I thought like the atmosphere was as good as I've seen in like years in the Aviva. And just after 10 minutes, you know, with the Rice goal, and then not long after that, the Grealish goal, it just sucked the life out of the stadium. So if we can just stay in it until the second half, I think we can nick one with the kind of threat that we have going forward. So I am going to say 1-0, and I'm going to say Smodics.
I would take that. I'm going to say, I went for 1-1 on the preview, didn't I? So I'm going to have to stick with that.
Yeah.
I'll stick with 1-1. Look, I take 1-1 to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then that gives us a chance to go to Finland and get a result there and play, because we got to play them twice. And I think the England one is a free hit, to be honest with you. So I think these 2 games against Greece and these 2 games against Finland are the ones that we need to really put a lot of kind of our effort in. And Hamer did say that the one against Greece is more important before the games were played. So I'm hoping that he's taken that as seriously as he said it at the time. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. Huge thanks, Tom, for joining us for this one as always. Yeah, hopefully we can get the result tomorrow. I hope it's more your result than the result I've gone for. I hope we get the win, obviously, and a bit of positivity then to take into the next window of games. And hopefully players like Evan Ferguson's back playing for Brighton and is fit and becomes a real threat then when we go against some of the nations like Finland and so on, because I'd love to see him start getting more goals under his belt and you know, maybe getting somewhat close to Robbie Keane's record. I know it's a ways away now, but maybe somewhere down the line. But anyway, if you like the video, drop a like on the video. If you haven't subscribed, please do so now. And if you want more videos, check out our YouTube channel. We have plenty of videos and plenty of content going out, especially towards this Greece game with an opposition preview. John O'Shea and Quillian Kelleher's press conference will be live at 11. It's scheduled to go live then. And then I have to do my starting 11 show. And obviously you have this match preview. So we've plenty to keep you occupied. We will speak to you all soon. Thanks very much for watching and take care.